This is Jerod Lakefield, a novel by Don Fensler, part number 25. Seen this game before. I've seen this game before? We walked out onto the court for the second half, and I was in a daze. A complete fucking daze. I was far from calm. I felt electrical microbes going through every molecule of my puny fucking dainty little body. We went out and promptly fell behind by 10 points. None of us were ready for this. This was the championship game. The guys got the ball to Jerod a couple of times, but he didn't want it and passed it back. He was playing defense, but fucking half-heartedly. He once told me, right out of the blue in one of our rare conversations, that the fucking flaw with basketball, though he didn't say fucking flaw, of course, is that the first half of the game didn't matter. Even the first half of the second half didn't matter. So when did it start to matter? Not yet, obviously. Our games were played on Jerod Lakefield time, and that was usually just fine with me. The ball came to Jerod again, and he passed it back. Then Jerod passed it back to the guy. His name doesn't matter. None of these guys matter. In fact, I don't fucking matter. He finally accepted the ball and shot it in the basket. He then stole the ball and laid the ball in for a basket. Whitworth proceeded to score 4 points in a row, and we were still behind by 10. One of our guys made a basket, then Whitworth made 6 more, and now we were behind by 14 points. God damn it. Sometimes it matters, Jerod Lakefield. Sometimes the early part of the game does matter. Sometimes the whole fucking game matters and you have to play hard the whole fucking game. Sometimes you've got to move. How we all depended on him and took him for granted and got upset with him when he didn't do exactly as we wanted. Somehow I knew we would win, but somehow I wasn't so sure. The game seemed to be fucking spinning out of control. But maybe it was just me that was spinning out of control. I felt dizzy and nauseous. I was a coach, and yet I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I felt as suave and cool as fucking Elmer Fudd right now. I was just going through the motions. I felt like if someone had walked up to me and said, "What are you doing? What the hell is the matter with you?" that I would explode like an atomic bomb. But something was happening, something on the court. The crowd was quiet. They were cheering, but not with energy. It was like they wanted to watch. They wanted to be quiet, but they wanted to be quiet and observe what was on the court, as if there was something holy and sacred going on. It was Jerod Lakefield. He had this look. His eyes were burning holes in everything he looked at. It was time. It was time. He got the ball dribbled to the right. He wasn't open. He looked slightly peeved, like what you might do. Like what right do you have to play defense against me? Jerod Lakefield. I'm Jerod Lakefield. You have no right to play defense against me. He then went back to the left, passed the ball off, gestured that he wanted it back, and like a dynamo from the other side of the universe, took off to the right. The defender's eyes went dead in amazement. It was not the move of a human. It was a move of Jerod Lakefield. Jerod had a clearing of 5 feet. 5 feet of precious fucking space between him and the defender, and went up with a shot, one of his fucking lasers, from 27 feet, and there was no doubt about the ball going in. The frenzy was starting. With 7 minutes left in the game, and tiny St. Cloud down by 12, the frenzy was starting. But Whitworth had this look like, "We're ready. We've been here before, pipsqueaks." And they had a God-given right to be arrogant pricks, as they had been in the championship game multiple times. They had faced everything, close games, blowouts, superstars. They were ready. If anybody was ready, Whitworth was ready for us. But they were not ready for this. They were not ready for Jerod Lakefield. The frenzy. Jerod was everywhere. He was all over the court, stealing the ball, tormenting guys into missing easy shots, throwing the ball into the stands, falling on their faces, and neglecting to feed their chihuahuas. Our guys knew what to do. Stand back. But Whitworth had no idea what was happening. They were paying more attention to Jerod than the basket when they were on than the basketball when they were on offense. This is a fucking fatal mistake. They were looking back, wondering where he would next appear. The bravado they had 1 minute ago had vanished like the Titanic, and with the sad, slow music playing in the background, and fucking Leonardo DiCaprio himself sinking to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean for them. Jerod did not tire. He ran and ran in frenzied but controlled fashion for minute after minute, but the expression on his face never changed, and he was never breathing hard. With 5 minutes to go, we were still tied 68-68, but the game was virtually over. The game was tied, but it was obvious we had already won. Whitworth tried putting up a brave front for the first few minutes of the frenzy, acting defiant and acting like all was okay, but with 3 minutes to go, St. Cloud was ahead by 9. Jerod was hitting everything, all beyond the three. Whitworth tried putting 2 guys on him, 3 guys in, 4 guys on him. I think they tried to call General Custer out of retirement. It didn't matter. The speed of Jerod Lakefield, the burst of speed like an otherworldly panther, was not of this earth. It was beyond this earth. The crowd was more respectful, possibly even fucking more reverent than boisterous. They were watching, thinking, bless my sweet fucking soul. This is something I may not see, at least live again. They knew it. Whether they were a Whitworth player or a St. Cloud fan or just watching, they knew this could not go on, that God was going to take Jerod Lakefield away. Even the people that seen him for the first time had that feeling. Jerod took a pass next to the scorer's table. We were up by 16 points with 33 seconds to go. We looked at the basket. Time seemed to stop. The clocks were frozen in their footsteps, and the moon fell out of the sky. The Whitworth defenders were punch-struck like a fucking bull at the moment of truth in Madrid, Spain. Jerod looked at the player with no maliciousness, even with compassion, and shot the basketball, and it went through the basket like a fiery javelin thrown down from the heavens. We looked at Jerod, and the crowd exploded. My ears hurt, and there were tears in my eyes. I could not stop the tears. I tried to stop them, to hide them, to turn away, but there was no stopping them. They flowed and flowed. I wanted to say no more. Final score 78-63. We were national champs.